this lesson, you'll learn about the human side of project managing, what people skills are important to have, and ways to detect burnout and help team members get back on track.
Being aware of burnout, I think, as a project manager is one of the main responsibilities. Developer mental health is as important as their physical health to get projects done. For me, again, it goes back to looking at their patterns. I find I spend time looking at how they work through individual tickets, seeing how they comment, how they reach out to other developers again, reach out to other project managers. And typically I can see if there's a decline in their, or a change in their communication style or patterns that allow me to kind of just do a check-in with them. And I'm really big on one-on-one check-ins. And typically not a, hey, I'm looking at this ticket and it hasn't gone anywhere. And more, hey, how's it going today? Have you had any tickets you've been having trouble with? Have you been having any individuals that you need to work through some situations with? Can I get you guys in the same room? I've actually used a tactic for some of that where if I know a developer is struggling on a ticket or I know they are going to be blocked on a ticket, I've actually taken it upon myself to say, hey, let's go get John Smith. Let's get in a hangout. Let's talk about the ticket. And then after about 3 or 4 minutes of me being there kind of going, hey, yeah, this is the problem, I typically duck out and I'll allow them to continue that conversation. And then typically they'll pull in someone else they need. And then that one-on-one communication seems to be something that can help pull somebody back in or get somebody motivated again when they have a problem or a task. Then now they have someone else that they're advocating with or working with to get there. It kind of pulls them out of their shell.
So what I would do is I would be the one scheduling all those meetings, and then I might come up with the topics, because sometimes it can be intimidating for other people to come up with topics. You know, they'll show up, absolutely, but then you don't want to come to a room where it's meant to help people and just have everyone sitting there. So coming up with topics that we can talk about, and just after having, maybe your own like one-on-ones with those developers, so you pull, okay, what's going on that you know of that they might not want to bring up, and then just having those topics ready to discuss.
So to advocate for a developer, I think you have to listen to them first. You have to listen through not just their initial reaction to a problem, which sometimes can come from a gut reaction or pride in something they've done that may be changed, but trying to listen through and talk through down what the core issue is. And then figuring out who you can talk to about either addressing that whole problem or pieces of the problem. Because maybe there's a small win within something someone thinks is a big problem that's enough to make them feel they've been advocated for, that they've got somebody on their side, but you can still get whatever the overall goal or objective is that may need to be accomplished a certain way. I'm very fortunate having a background in development, that trying to figure out how to give them the space and time they need to accomplish tickets, the time for their thought process, the time for them to hit walls, figure out where to adjust and come back. And now being a PM on many projects where I need to be accountable to the stakeholders, I need to be accountable to a deadline. I need to be the one checking in and saying, hey, how is this going? And I find, again, it really comes down, for me, a rapport with developers. There's times where I feel like I want the developer to want to get the ticket done because they want to get the ticket done, even if it's not a fun ticket. And there's a balance between hounding them and asking them the same question over and over again. And where I find a conversational style is better, where, hey, so how are things going this morning? Which most of the time I care about. How are you doing this morning? Hey, what's your interest level in this ticket? Or how are you doing on this one ticket? And there's times where even if I know the answers to questions revolving around that ticket, I will still ask the questions. There's times where I will play the fool, where I will ask a question that I know the answer to, or I will probe deeper into something that I know how it's going to go, just to get someone talking about it, just to get someone in that mindset. And then typically the counterpart to that is trying to express the importance of whatever it is. Trying to make sure that if someone's working on a ticket and they're not happy, or somebody is working on a ticket and they're really happy, very motivated to do this part of the project, that's really a low priority ticket. Here's some higher ones we need to focus on, but let's come back to that. And working with them, working with developers one-on-one, even when our project with 15 developers is really important to me as a project manager.
Being able to communicate often and clearly in a way that as you are on a project, you learn what people are receptive to. And sometimes having to communicate directly to that person in a manner that you know that they're going to respond positively is, man, one of the skills I've just didn't even realize I'd ever need in my life, you know. And it's a very fine art, I find, to be able to do that.
It comes down to the communication. It comes down to frequent communication. So I think, especially with a distributed company, I love the face-to-face that we can do and a hangout and just kind of getting together. I don't know if I would want to do daily just because you want to respect time, but at least every other day, just so that we can kind of all get on the same page and kind of talk about what's going on with you. What are you struggling with? Can we help? So it's just making sure that you make the time to connect and not just send an email, but that face-to-face or over the phone time is really important.
Make sure that your developers are happy and well-fed and feeling productive and not demoralized. Sometimes team members will submarine, quote unquote, on a project, meaning they kind of disappear and you're not seeing a lot of work from them. You're not seeing commits coming in. They're not reporting a lot on scrums. It may be because they have a serious health issue going on or something's happening at home that's stressing them out. So it's really important to kind of go in, instead of just bringing a new person onto the team, which is going to stress the team, troubleshoot and find out who's feeling blocked or demoralized or stressed by their workload. Sometimes a PM can be very helpful in rejuggling things amongst an existing team to get that velocity increasing.
Project managing isn't just about technical skills. A great project manager will have excellent interpersonal and communication skills as well. Being a proactive communicator, a good listener and sounding board, having the ability to inspire and engage a team, showing empathy, knowing how to motivate individual members of your team, and intentionally building trust and respect are all important people skills for a respected and effective project manager. Stress can come from any part of a person's life, and many times can affect a person's work, productivity, and well-being. As a PM, recognize that mental health is as important as physical health when it comes to an individual's ability to complete their best work. Get to know the patterns of communication and progress, especially in how people communicate in ticket queues, calls, and other places where team communication happens. Has an individual stopped reaching out? Stopped asking questions? Be sure to check in with folks one-on-one on a regular basis. And finally, help them out by doing what you can to remove blockers and facilitate helpful discussions. In this lesson, we learned that an effective project manager has more than just technical and organizational skills. They have great interpersonal and communication skills as well. Part of leading a happy and productive team is getting to know the individuals on your team and advocating for them when they need help.